Well, hello there. Good evening. Welcome. How are you, you beautiful mammals? Oh, sorry, Larp. I do apologise, Larpbeard, for ruining your ability to go to sleep. That is rude of me. I am shocked and disgusted at myself. Here we are. Blissful Badger, good evening. Hello, my friend. How are you? Are you well? I hope so. How is everybody's Monday? Monday. Probably Monday. I think we start getting Australians turning up at some point, and that totally ruins the whole thing about it being Monday. But up until they're here, it's totally Monday for all of us. How are you all? How is it? Jesus, what's going on? 5 people on Twitch already. Don't know how many on. My goodness, I've only just turned up. I've not got my vibes sorted. What's going on? How is everyone anyway? How are you all doing? I hope you're well. Oh, Mal's here. Hey yo. Mal, every time I appear live, you're there. I'm genuinely touched and a little worried, but mostly touched, but not inappropriately. It's good to see you, buddy. I bought more things. It seems the normal thing. What, Blissful Badger, what more things did you buy? Depends what you bought. Hey, Ronald. Hello, good evening. Pretty busy hacking up some XPS foam. In preparation for Saturday? Or is that something else? I saw some stuff zip past, but I'd like to say I've been busy this evening, but I've been slacking off and chilling a bit before I come on stream. I normally try and get some work done and stuff, but I didn't tonight. I was just gaming. I just did the gaming. And it was glorious. So, anyway, I bought into a totally new game, and then also more for another one. Blissful Badger, dear Lord, man. Which game did you buy into, and what additional stuff for another one did you get? Mal is doing well, just waiting for work to end, and then going to get a War Machine match in this evening. Nice. Very nice indeed. What do you play a War Machine? Which faction? I don't care. I'm not getting involved in it. I'm not. It's nice. It's nice. It's very nice. But oh, DFC, don't. Oh, DFC. Stop it. I know. I don't need it. No. No. Nah. Northern Winds. Good job. Good call. Very good call. Very, very nice. So, have you got it, or is it on the way? Because those are two very different things. Because if it's on the way, you don't wait for it. But if it's here, you should totally do that while we're talking. Definitely. Chimera, but curious about Crucible Guard and later Meneth. It's been a while since I was involved in any form of War Machine. Last time I played Ret, so it's been a while. You're watching the tracking. It's one of those. Come on. You want a message, you can sort of get in contact with the delivery driver, like, I will give you a cookie here now. 1 cookie. Yeah, I had that Saturday. There was a delivery that was going to happen. This is not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, I was running a tournament, and my wife had to go out for a period of time, and I was like, I know as soon as she goes out, the delivery driver's going to be like, hello, no, there's no one in. Yep. And then it's like you have to trek to frickin' Mordor to pick up your part. No. That you paid for someone to drop it yet? No, don't, no. Mount Haven tomorrow. Indeed, Larpbeard. Mount Haven tomorrow. Indeed. I think my Mount Haven are arriving on Wednesday. So tomorrow, so Mount Haven is the new faction for Warcrow from Corvus Belli. You haven't all heard. That's the thing that's happening. And the big announcement, and I think the pre-order goes live tomorrow, so that's the thing that happens. Mine's turning up courtesy of CB on Wednesday, so at some point tomorrow, I think, there's going to be the video of stuff from me regarding that, and then probably on Wednesday there'll be an unboxing, and then at some point later there'll be a proper review. We talk about it in more detail. So the initial bit is just kind of, the initial bit's going to be just talking about what's in the box, profiles for that, and what I think. There's a whole load of lore behind them, but I'm not going to do that because that's not my thing. It's not my jam. So we're not going to talk about that. But we will talk about what they are and what they do and what I think about them and all that kind of stuff. So That's kind of cool. Mate, Mount... Oh, yeah, okay. You got some as well, did you, Inselius? Lucky you. 2 hours and 54 minutes. Is that what... Are you pre-ordering it? Is that the plan? I'll come by next Saturday. The foam hack is some terrain making for bot action. Nothing really planned. Just going with the inspirational juice. That's an entirely different website, putting your inspirational juice on the internet, my friend. But entirely what's up to. I can't remember who's coming on Saturday. We've got a bolt action tournament happening on Saturday. I am TO. So what I've done is I've crafted this event that is based around armor. Now, bolt action is kind of pretty much will always have some form of armor in your force if you're not familiar with it, and it is this particular set of missions is you must bring armor and lots of it, and here's lots of points to chuck at it, and here's some craziness to go on top of that. So it's going to be pretty bonkers. Some of the lists that I've been sent over the weekend were just like, I was sick in my mouth a bit. You know, when you see something, you're like, oh God, oh no. Don't do that. Do you not like your friends? Is that what you're trying to tell them? And there was a couple of ones that I saw and I was just like, I mean, you could win. Everyone else could not turn up, but it's possible. It is entirely possible. That's not true. Everyone's in with a chance, so. Waiting on Warsenal to get their next shipment of Eldfall Chronicles in so they can ship me my order. Woof. Yeah, we're waiting on... so for my birthday, I finished off... Did I finish off? All but 2 miniatures, I finished off the Northern Wind stuff. So I have the Blighted Rift spawn coming. I have some more of the Cursed Oni monster creatures coming. And the Pariah included within that. Oh, turn up, coming over. Gonna be arriving at some point. So we're super looking forward to that. That's gonna be really good. We're going to talk about some Eldfall tonight. You'll be glad to hear. What are we talking about? We're talking about Shatterpoint, because that needs talking about, I think. Actually, because I thought that, yeah, if you haven't heard, that was really interesting. We can talk about the Eldfall errata that dropped Friday night, Saturday morning. That was kind of cool. What that means, what's in there. As a Soga player, boo. If you're a Goblin player, also boo. If you're anyone else, well, that's kind of handy. So that's the thing. They didn't nerf the ones that really did need it, which was the Oni, because clearly they're broken. Yes. We're going to talk a little bit about Mount Haven, but not a lot. Just smudge, just a little smudge of Mount Haven, because there's a lot of that coming over the next few days, and some of the stuff. Well, there is a content creator group for Corvus Belli. And a lot of people are talking about the videos they put together in there. And I had like a plan of what I wanted to do for Mount Haven. And then I saw the volume of videos that some channels are putting out, and I was just like, I'm not going to get involved in that. It's just, whoo, okay. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong. If you want every little detail, every little nuance of Mount Haven, it's going to be out there. And there's some people that have done some, from what I can see, some really beautiful and stunning work. I try here, for the most part, to talk about things that I find interesting and that you don't really necessarily see a lot of other places. I think that, like, this is why I'm anything but GW. There's loads of places you can go and see GW. Just everywhere does GW. So I don't really want to talk about that. And the more that I saw the volume of people that are producing stuff for Mount Haven, the more I kind of felt like, I don't think you all need to hear the same thing from everyone. If you remember, there was a little while back, there was the new book came out. I forget the name of it, but the new book came out. First time writer, Gabe. I got an art copy of it. I booked an interview with him. My little one was ill, I had to cancel it. And I was like, right, I'm going to get that rebooked. And about a week later, I was looking to rebook it. And everywhere was just an interview with him, interview coming up with him, questions for him. And I was just like, what can I possibly add to this conversation that's interesting, that's worth your time? You know? Unless I'm like, which Power Ranger you're into? You know? But that's not interesting. It's not interesting. So we're going to do plenty on Mount Haven, and I've got some ideas of things I want to do, which is going to be cool. But there's so much noise coming on that front. I don't see the value in me talking about it. And that's no shade on other people who are doing the stuff. That's kind of me just saying, I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to talk about it in depth in a review. And that's, for the most part, what you're going to get in the first couple of weeks, because I think that's really the only stuff that's worth saying. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's just sometimes things can get oversaturated, and I think, yeah. But don't worry, I'm not going to deprive you of my thoughts. Clearly, you're waiting for them. I can't blame you, honestly. But yeah, but it's going to be cool. They do look very, very sweet, and they do look very, very interesting, and I like some of the mechanisms around them that I can't talk about yet. And I don't know how much has been shown of them, but they're sweet miniatures. And we know they're all Unicool as well. Long may that continue through Warcry. But anyway, so we have all that MacGuffin. That's all happening. That's all happening this week. Next couple of weeks. Zombies in Eldfall. No zombies in Eldfall. Well, undead, not zombies. Not zombies. Only if you play probably 8 or 9 games in a row, then you might be a zombie, but not no. But unless you get them in the game. Not yet. Ah, wrong button. Push that one. But yes, Seeing Machine has raised Eldfall. Obviously, if you are remotely interested in Eldfall, then you will have probably seen that on the very late hours of Friday night, early Saturday morning, version 1.6 of the rules was released. For the most part, it's a quality of life update. It's taking the previous FAQs and stuff like that and smushing them into the rulebook, redesigning the rulebook because it needed it. There's going to be a full deeper dive on this later, but they've restructured and reorganized the rulebook, which is annoying because there were certain things that I knew the page numbers for. Not anymore. Anyway, but they've redesigned it, which it needed very much so. The rulebook's a lot cleaner and tidier, and it's kind of a better experience now. But there are some changes that have been made, some changes to certain equipment, schemes, core rules and stuff like that. The upshot is, if you're a Goblin player, so one of the shticks that Goblin players have is that if you have a model type with a class soldier with an awareness, which is a variable range, but X inches of another soldier, they boost each other's stats. And you could do that infinitum. So with Goblins being great at having lots of people together, you made this little bubble of soldiers that just stacked each other up. And my good friend Machine there, I think, got up to +4 on his various stats. And it's a lot of stats. I think it's accuracy, I think it's defense, offense, and some other ones all get buffed up. So suddenly these little weedy, they might hit you, they probably won't, turn into, oh dear God. You had +4 to anything in a D20 game. It's a chunk, it's a chunk of points. But they've capped that at +3 now. So, I mean, it stops the fun to a great extent, but it doesn't like remove it completely, which, it's all good. It's all good. It's not necessarily a bad thing. What I do find regrettable, offensive, disappointing, upsetting, very genuinely heartbroken, was they modified the upgrade to Soga that gave you a warbow. Previously, when you took that warbow, you gained stagger, which is a really great ability. Inside of Warcry, you have inside of Eldfall. It's been a long week. It's only Monday. Inside of Eldfall, you have action points, which are generated by the stamina of your models. And that's a limited resource, so most units will have 2. They'll have 2 action points per turn. If you get hit, just hit, you don't have to be wounded. If you get hit with a weapon with stagger, you lose an action point. They've changed that to stun, and stun's been slightly reworked as well, so there's a change in how you can still take their action points off, but it's vanishingly less likely. Oh, Access, good evening. Hello. How are you, young man? Good to see you. So it's vanishingly less likely. So historically, like I had certain bowmen that you just sit at the back and fire, just vomit arrows at people during their turn, and you can just go tick, 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 tick. I take away your ability to activate, and then I just slaughter you. Aha! And the first tournament in the Netherlands, that was my tactic. And one game, I literally spent my game backing away from the enemy, just taking their action points off, grinding them down, so I could go ahead and finish them off, which I did. I mean, yes, it wasn't fun to play against. No, it wasn't, you know, the nicest thing to do. I wanted to see if it worked, you know. And now it's been nerfed, and I think it's fair. With my balanced and fair head on, it's fair. It's a reasonable thing to do, you know. You've got to have a good player experience. You've got to have the ability for everyone to be involved and feel comfortable with that. And that did have a little bit of a feels bad thing to it. It wasn't necessarily the most enjoyable thing to play against. And I get that, and that's cool. So I'm glad they've done their thing. I'm also not glad they've done their thing. But, you know, it makes sense. It makes sense. So overall, the view on it is living rulebook. This is what it's all about. I think from here we're going to get updated scheme packs. We're going to get updated upgrade packs, which are going to be needed because they've been reworked. There's totally different limitations and stuff on them now. So that's kind of cool. And we're also... Oh, my mic is quiet today. Hang on. Why is no one telling me that? Is that better? I have this thing with the sound on my PC that periodically it just goes, I'm going to change that. I'm going to adjust this for you. Now, I don't do anything to it. It just decides it's going to. And when it does that, it makes a mess of everything. Right, there's been what? Yes, it is. I can see it's blindingly low because that is way down. That should probably be better now. Is that more like it? I don't want to turn it all the way up, but that should be better. There's no point in saying, yes, it's a bit quiet now. Is that better? Are we happy now? Am I projecting beautifully through your ears? Oh, wow, yeah. But I love the way... Your OBS likes to forget your camera exists. Nice, Multiverse. You can hear me. Okay. I have an accent. Do I? No. Surely not. Thank you. Multiverse, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me know. And all the other ones that have been in here going, I can't really hear... Can you hear him? I can't really hear him. But not saying anything to me. Tell me. Can't believe you missed such an open goal. It's an opportunity to abuse me and you didn't take it. I'm vaguely disappointed in all of you, especially you. Yes, of course I have an accent. Gear. Hello, you marvellous mammal. How are you this evening? Good to see you, bud. Are you well? What have you been up to? Long time no see. We got used to it after all the videos that are like that. Ow! Lotbeard! My goodness! Did somebody whiz in your cornflakes this morning, my friend? There's an edge to you today that I'm not used to. Oh, viciousness. Fair play, I mean. Fair point well made, but that's not the point. Oh God, that means that that explains a lot with my videos recently. Well, yes, in a way. I'm sorry to hear that somebody whizzed in your cornflakes this morning, Larkbeard. That's never nice, and they shouldn't do it. Tell them from me. No, don't do it. It's not nice. It's not a pleasant thing to do to someone else. Very much so. Very disappointing. So yes, there will be a more sort of intricate dive into the update for Eldfall Chronicles coming soon, TM. But I think it was good. I was really happy, and it was kind of, I mean, you may not have noticed, but I have been pushing it a bit on the channel recently. So when you have an update like this, which is going to make it easier for new players to get into the system, it's great. This makes me happy, you know? This is nice to see because it's just, the rulebook is such a first contact point. There's things that are being done in the way of sort of the onboarding process and reworking that, as I understand at the moment. So you're going to see an improvement on that anyway, but the rulebook is crucial, and having it redone and restructured and just continuing to improve it is such a good thing. So I was happy about that, and it was nice, even as a Soga player. Even as a Soga player with 4 archers. Very disappointed. But I see why. So that was good. That was good, that was good. And there's been some rough news this week. I think that there was a little bit about Trench Crusade and what they're doing. So few games actually have a decent laid out rulebook. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, this is 1. I'm going to come back to Trench Crusade and stuff in a minute. This is 1.5. And like, hang on, we need to do it this way so I can see what I'm doing. 1.5, there's nothing wrong with 1.5 in many ways. Like, your main structure is all like clean and simple and straightforward, and where you need examples, there are examples and stuff like that, and we have pretty little diagrams and beautiful artwork and things. But there's certain bits inside of this that are a little bit... clunky is not the right word, but it takes a couple of read-throughs. You kind of read it and you're like, okay, no, all right, yeah, no, I got it. And it was really funny, actually. The dodge ability in here, dodge for Eldfall is really interesting because if you use the dodge skill, dodge action, use a dodge action, then you move the distance. You have to roll, but even if you fail the roll, you move. Which starts off being one of those things where you're like, what? So much so that when I read these rules for the first time, I didn't pick that one up. So I was playing against a very good friend of mine, Michael, and he was like, no, you can still move. But I failed the roll. That doesn't matter, you still move. And I was like, that's ridiculous. I opened the rulebook. Oh, that changes everything. Amazing. So the fact that they're tidying it up and tightening up is, you know, a good thing. Yeah. You were pampered by well-written and honed rules. Where? Your greatest love in the world. Yeah, infinity brain, exactly. Excuse me. But also the concept of being able to make a move after you've failed to achieve the action made my head hurt. Where do you think I was pampered with well-written and well-honed rules last bit? Because it wasn't infinity. Dear Lord, it was never. Doing good. Caught the usual spring sniffles as soon as I got sunnier outside. Anyway, how am I? I am overworked, overtired, and over here. No, we're fine. We're good. It's been a really hectic few weeks. There's been an awful lot of stuff going on in my world. We're trying to keep on top of it with varying degrees of success. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So it's just been one of those things where a lot of things have happened very, very quickly. And yeah, well, I mean, last week I slept through the stream. I woke up to, are you streaming tonight? Apparently not, because I'm just woken up. So that was not a thing, which is never a good sign. It's always a good sign. It's always a sign you're tired, I think, or overdoing it. But so we had that. But no, apart from that, I'm okay. I'm surrounded by pretty stuff. I'm doing a tournament for Bolt Action this weekend, which I'm not. I was playing in. I was going to be TOing and playing because it's kind of a bit of a giggles one. But I'm not now because somebody dropped, so uneven numbers, TO bouts. It's fine. But I'm kind of glad because I was working like really hard on getting a load of like tanks painted, and now I don't have to. So you're kind of like, okay, I'll do something else. This is great. So overall, we're fine. Wait, what's Eldfall? I've never heard you talk about that on your channel. Well, multiverse minis. Sit down, I'll tell you all about it. Are you ready? You're not ready. Cheeky sod. Anyway, looking at what TC had out when trying to run a campaign, you can sense that was grilled by rules lawyers and what wasn't. Yeah, I've not really got heavily into the Trench Crusade side of things. I've stuck away from it. It didn't tickle my pickle. I've said it before. It's fine. I get it while people are majorly in love and all the rest of it, although it is seeming to be... They seem to be doing their damnedest to screw it up at the moment, from what I've seen. I've seen quite a few people who are not happy with the people behind it for a raft of kind of legitimate reasons. I was listening to something yesterday about it, and they were saying that the creator licenses that they're bringing out are just a complete mess, but that the blog posts that the companies put out around them don't match the content of those licenses. So if you're like producing miniatures to go with it, you're not allowed to say that you've designed a miniature for Trench Crusade and stuff like that, unless you do this particular type of license. But if you do that, there's kind of a clause in there that says they can take it without paying you. The guys at Trench Crusade thinks that that's for social media, but actually it just gives them this complete carpet bomb of no, we can just take your STL and do what we want. I don't know whether they fixed that in the last 24, 48 hours, but it was one of those things where you look at it and you're like, I've heard so many positive things about Trench Crusade, and the company that's running it just seems to be like, no, wait, we can screw this up, just give us a minute. I don't know why you do that. But no, I haven't really looked at the rules of it. It's one of those, a lot of people around me are like, oh, it's so good. That's cool. Drop Zone Commander is more of a concern than Trench Crusade, and I'm sticking away from that like the plague. Although, when we talk about zombies in the title of this, and yeah, I have successfully avoided like Neo in the frickin' Matrix Conflict 47. I'm not. You can't make me. I don't want to. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to sniff it. I'm certainly not going to taste it. So no, I have no interest in that whatsoever. I shall stick away very, very carefully. So then we became part of the, they call it their influencer like program for Warlord. And they're like, hey, here's the new Trench Crusade, here's the new Conflict 47 book. And I was just like, what are you trying to do to me? So anyway, we've got a review of that coming up. Because we can, I'm going to have a bit of a chat about that one. Because they sent it to me, so I'm going to talk to you about it, because stuff, which was kind of funky. But I'm definitely not buying in. I'm not. You can't make me. It's not a thing I want to do. Trench Crusade is only 5 or 6 people, not as big as people think. No. Now, to be clear, I understand they're a small company, and I totally get the issues and the pressures and the things that come with that. I do understand that entirely, but like with the design of some of the 3D printed stuff, the switch from we were always going to be 3D printed to, oh no, we're going to make our own stuff and we're going to cut back on the 3D print. There's a lot of things recently that they've done that have been like, if all the things you could have done, that was not one of them. But you did. You did the thing you shouldn't have done. It's just a bit disappointing. So we shall see. Hopefully they can pull it out. Dalinair, good evening. Are you well? Good to see you. How are things with you? Thanks for joining. Yeah, I decided on drop fleet since I don't have that sort of game, not looking at zone or anything. See, I liked, I loved the building the ships bit of drop fleet. I adored that. I have a UCM fleet and I loved it with passion. Really, really cool. And you get the multi-part sprues and that, and put the big gun on the top, and it's really, really cool. I love that. The version 1 rules were just a bit like, but no. It was like, this is cool. Don't do that. That's not good. So, yeah. Also, the delivery window didn't succeed. Still waiting on 1 box to get here sometime. Dear Lord, I hate that. Drop Zone, I loved. Drop Zone, I loved. That was so much fun. I had way too much of that, and it was just joy. The new Conflict 47 book name makes me want to turn on some good old synth pop. Yeah, I know what you mean. What is it? For those of you who don't know, let me just absolutely not look at it right now while I'm talking to you guys. Ooh. No. Festung Europa. That sounds like something you can get a cream for, to be honest with you. But that's just me. Doing good. Glad to hear it, Dalinair. Good to hear it, my friend. So close to first painted Eldfall. Party is the technical name. It's a party or a warband. That's what we go by in Eldfall Chronicle circles. So you know. Yes, you are. You're doing phenomenal work, and it's very, very pretty, I have to say. Over on the Twitches, I love it when you do that. But just realised that this did not go out on Discord, because Discord went, "Are you sure you want to send it to everybody?" No, I was joking. You're quite right. Clearly. And where's the... There's Frosty. There. Where's your other one? Is that... Yeah, you're doing really pretty work. You're doing really pretty work. You're working the swashbuckler at the moment, aren't you? That is... So, some of you may have seen... Hey, Euroblob, good evening, hello. Thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. You've been subscribed for 4 months, that's bonkers. Thanks, buddy. If you can and you have Amazon Prime, then please subscribe over on Twitch, because that helps me immensely and it's brilliant, and we take money away from Jeff Bezos. And this is the Twitch. And if you can, that would be great, because that would make everything just shiny in my world. It would just make me so happy. But if you can subscribe over there, that'd be amazing. I should already done it on YouTube, because that's more, you know what I mean? Yeah, done it now. I have 3 in progress as I ran out of skin paint, so they're all sat waiting on final touches. Oh, that's rough. That is rough. Plus the neon pink for the succubus. That's, yes. So, what I was saying, starting today, there are some unit videos that are going to be dropping from Eldfall. I think they're going out on TikTok, and I know they're going on Facebook, and I think they're going out on Insta as well. Narrated by yours truly. So you're going to have, if you miss me when I'm not here and you don't want to watch another Dice Gods video, you can go and watch those, because it's the reinforcements for Thenian and for Soga. So it's kind of a little bit of lore, and it's a little bit of playstyle, and it's a little bit of stats and all that kind of stuff. So those are all dropping on the official Eldfall channels now. So you should go watch those, because they were cool. They were good fun. And that's okay. Das, hello. I'm getting into K47 bot action and started building Seocast Japanese. Nice. As bad as Warcry models, damn it. I was like, yay. I was yaying Japanese, just to be clear, because most people, German, British, American, you get loads of those, and then the Finnish, because people have no souls. So it was yay Japanese, but smaller scale, not as intricate, so it matters less. Yeah, but it's still, Seocast is just, it's one of those things that I'm in a constant state of sort of bewildered mystery as to why companies keep using it. A couple have made it work, and everyone else has just no. You know what I mean? Just no. Hey, Lobby, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Did you miss the Eldfall update? You did a little bit. I said that there's a proper video coming on the FAQ. Oh, hang on. Is that a... Am I on a thing? I'm on a... Oh, yeah. We've got a thing running. I've got a thing. One of the... Sorry. One of the things on Twitch where it's like, hey, everybody's subscribing to you. It's so shiny. Keep it going. And my, like, child brain goes, oh, shiny thing. Poke the shiny thing. You can't subscribe to yourself. That's both a little bit vain and a little bit tragic. So we're not doing that. Anyway. First evening on airbrush for the terrain. Nice. I've got that coming up. Oh, I've got such cool terrain coming up. I just have to decide exactly what I'm getting. But Das, I feel you with the Seocast, and that's such a shame that they do that. It's just, why? And much as it matters less because the scale is smaller, still, you've paid for a product. It should be a good product. It shouldn't be made with indifference. You know what I mean? I'm not, yeah, not a fan of that. I'm sorry to hear it. Also, yeah, we got the same as his t-shirt. Well, this one was, so this is official Dice Gods merch. Should totally get involved with that. This I picked up myself because I designed it in orange so that I can wear it for like Dutch holidays like King's Day, because then you're supposed to all dress in orange, and I can, and be branded. And that amused me way more than it ever should have. But it did. And I do love this t-shirt. It does make me laugh. So, yeah. Model problems. Check the work on the phone chat. The phone. Oh god. What work? What phone chat? What's going on? I'm so confused. Where's the phone chat? Oh my god. Where's that? That's not the one. Ah yes, you're there. Nice, dude. So the Mighty Problems is painting up a set of terrain for our satellite tournament, and it's looking pretty sweet. He's doing good. It's very sweet. I have that coming up, and I'm so excited. Subscription should be allowed. Mal, you just took it and then you just dropped it a bit, didn't you? You just took it and then you just dropped it a bit. You wouldn't know if you did not try. Well, that's true. Euroblock. They're so comfy. They are so comfy. I have to say, you're right. When it turned up, I was like, well, he was all very excited. And then I tried it and I was like, yeah, he's right. Because we got the Painty Paint Cup as well. So that's been used several times already. And then cleaned incessantly. Because it's got to be done. And I got my It Depends t-shirt as well, because I had to own an It Depends t-shirt. That was just one of those things. And I'm wearing that to every available tournament now. It's going to be, I'm going to wander on with It Depends. And I think I wore it at the Infinity tournament a couple of weeks ago, and that I did get to use It Depends and do the whole, it's right there. So that was kind of cool, vaguely satisfying. And I should be in, oh, emergency services. They're coming for me. Had to be said. But yeah. So no, you did miss a little bit about the Eldfall stuff, but there's lots more coming soon, and essentially the jump to 1.6 is good, and it's free, which is also nice, and the cards, and the fact we're getting monster cards and scheme cards, upgrade cards, also very nice. There's some good touches. There are some very good touches with that, I have to say. Very much so. But yes. So yeah, I don't know. Trench Crusade's a weird one. It's not for me, but it's watching what's going on with it at the moment. Next part of the tutorials, the Arcanum 5. It's all written, and I started to record it, and then we had a couple of issues with recording it. I was overtired, and it was just not coming out right. It's one of those things. That was the point I was making with the stuff that I did for Eldfall for their videos. I had to say Fenrir swashbuckler like 3 times in a single script, and my brain just went, no. Which was really disappointing. Because it was like, okay, no, swashbuckler. There was, I think I deleted it now, but there was a video of me trying to record that, and there was, at one point I said it 12 times in a row, and none of them were right. I think I didn't have to do it at the end, but I did do one successful recording where I just was like, swashbuckler, the maximum sort of pronunciation of just epicness. But yeah, I think the one that I ended up going with was, it sounded normal, not like I was having some type of stroke. But yeah, the guy with the sword, no, you have to use it correctly. It's all about making sure people know what it's called and like identifying it and making it awesome. And anyway, Fenrir swashbuckler. There you go. See how hard is that? Really freaking hard, actually. Swashbuckler. It felt like it. It was the swash. Actually, was the issue, because when you're like running through that and you're trying to create this nice flow. Because we also wanted to keep them quite short, to like 45 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds was the sweet spot. So when you're trying to say Fenrir swashbuckler, that swoosh becomes this swoosh noise, which just doesn't sound nice. It probably didn't sound nice then. It doesn't sound nice when you're listening to it back on video, and it just becomes this ugh in the middle of a sentence. So you don't focus on the end because you're too busy going, that wasn't normal, that was just not nice. I think we got it in the end. But yes, guy with sword would have been easier. This dude in the picture, is really, really nice. I'd love to see bloopers of you failing at reading your script. There are so many. There are glorious. In fact, I think a couple have made it through onto videos at points over the years. but there was one point where I did a supercut. I got annoyed doing a video edit because I'd recorded the audio for it, and it had gone wrong. It just got horrifically wrong, and I was running a studio mic at that point, so not these little guys, but actually a Shure SM7B I was running at that point, which is like the streamer mic, you know, or one of the streamer mics. But the problem with that is that it is very, very, very sensitive. And I was just going wild listening to this edit because every single mouth noise, every noise was just there, just right in the, you know, and then I'd screw it up. So they would just sound like a golden retriever was drinking a bowl of water in the background from my mouth, and then I just go in the middle. Oh. So I ended up getting annoyed and making a supercut, and it got to about 2 minutes of me going, and I'm like, God, no, just delete it. Never, we're never speaking of this again until tonight. Clearly the trauma's over, but at the time it was just like, oh God, can we just once, just one run through, normally, just one. Because some of my sort of run-throughs, I tend to run on an outline of the script rather than the full one, because a full script sometimes my delivery I don't feel comfortable with it, because I write it, then I read it, but I interpret as I go along, and sometimes that causes problems because my brain will go off on a nice little tangent of like, oh, we can just add this bit of information in, and so I come off the script over here. And then I finish the bit that I'm saying, and I have to come back over here, which doesn't work because it just becomes this janky mess. So what I've taken to doing is building a framework for the piece. This is the things I want to touch, this is the things I want to talk about. And doing that, less stress, you know, less hassle. But it does mean that you kind of have stream of consciousness rather than actually a script, which is a downside. And somebody did tell me the other day that I got a comment, I think I mentioned this last week actually, my over dramatic pauses and inflated delivery. I was like, no, that's just me. It's literally, that's just me. That's what being between these ears is like. It's just that. I pointed out, I said that's just me, and then I pointed out that maybe this wasn't the channel for you. Maybe this isn't the place you should hang out. I think I might annoy you. And if you get annoyed about it, I'm just going to be sarcastic, and that's not going to help the situation. I'm not. There is a so this year the April Fool's video is planned. I have to record that soon. Actually, we have the April Fool's video planned, but there is that I've wanted to do for ages, and I can talk about it because the execution is going to be amazing. But I wanted to do like an infomercial on the 1st of April, and do like the Dice Gods are proud to present ASMR for wargamers, and then do like dice rolling and like praying to dice gods, and like, well, actually, I think you'll find on page 53, and you know. It's just the little noises and stuff that you do around the licking of brushes, the opening of a paint pot, that kind of thing. I was going to do tapping on rule books. You're with it. You're with it. It'd be amazing. Oh no, Frosty said, I mean, hey Frosty, good to see you, man. Kaz is in the house, driving home. Welcome back. Thank you very much. It's just been a few weeks for me. It's just been, there's been a lot. But I'm glad I was missed, Kaz. Thank you very much. Good to see you. ASMR for wargamers, you're out already. Oh, no. This is designed specifically for you, Frosty. We both know what you like. We do. But yeah, so that was going to be the April Fool's. That is going to be an April Fool's video at some point where we're going to do that. The Dice Gods present the first ever ASMR for wargamers. Inappropriately licking brushes. Amazing. So you can look forward to that. Not this year. Maybe not next year, but one day. And it'll come from nowhere, and you won't be ready for it. And it'll finish with a Rick Astley Rickroll on the back end of it, and it's just the whole thing. I know you, Frosty. I know you better than you know yourself. That's the truth of the matter. It's just how that goes. What can I tell you? Anyway, good to see you, man. How are you? Are you well? accidentally slurping paint water. Well, that's because you need the cup that reminds you not to drink it, because it's actually paint water, brush water. It's actually brush water. This is what you need, and you'll never do it again. And it's metal as well, which is the other reason that I like it, because then I really won't do it again, because I'm like, oh, it's metal. Hang on. Although I am tempted to produce a ceramic version of this that looks identical, but has not brush water written on it. Because I'm that kind of sick individual and that easily amused. Inger, are you off, Inger, or are you just waving in general? We can magnetize models and stick them on it. You can, if you wish to stick your... In fact, you could turn it upside down. If you have more money than sense, you could stick a magnetized miniature to the bottom of it. I think this is magnetic. It must, hang on, where's me? I've got magnets around here. Don't ask why I have magnets around here, because if you ask that, I'm going to have to admit that I don't know. But yeah, we're good. We've got magnetism. Look at that. Amazing. You used to have an X over the brush part just to confuse me. So I should make a second one of these, but just put over the top of it. And therefore, in some anarchic way, defeat the purpose of the thing. It is the kind of BS that I do enjoy and I do relish in, I do have to say. So, comedy. But no, you absolutely, Lockbeard, you can absolutely do it. You'd have to run up the national debt of a small country to buy enough to do. If you want to do a squad of 10, I don't want to know how much it's going to cost you. But go for it. That'll absolutely be fine. Fully approve that plan. Yeah, my goodness. So, that's Eldfall done like twice. We've got to do it again this week. Already talked about the fact that Mount Haven's coming, so we're going to have a look at that. I think, yeah, we have that. Not going to talk about that yet. Can't talk about that yet. Sorry, you'll find out soon enough. Then we have Treasure Crusade. We talked about that. Add a sippy straw. I'm not putting a sippy straw in. That's not... I mean, some of you probably need it to stop you drooling on yourself, but I think most people on here don't. Probably. Maybe. We shall see. Anywho. Next thing I want to talk about actually was I was caught up with Shatterpoint. What happened with Shatterpoint this week? Which... I mean, again, this is a moment where you're all going to be shocked and surprised, but I have opinions on Shatterpoint. I have done since it was first announced. The zombies are coming. Did I miss what that was about? K47, Conflict 47. We're going to be talking about Conflict 47 because a book's been sent and I've got to talk about it. And I'm definitely not buying into it. That's what that's about. Probably not buying into that. That's probably not going to happen. I can tell you that because a couple of people have said actually to me on here and elsewhere, zombies, is that what's coming to Eldfall? I can't tell you what's coming to Eldfall next. I can tell you that it's cooler than zombies, and that's what I'm going to say, because I have an NDA, so I can't tell you. But oh my god, so exciting! Shatterpoint was shattered. I know. I wanted to put that in there, but then you know. Yeah, Shatterpoint went to a farm up north where he can play with BFG in Warzone. Did you see the Shatterpoint announcement? It wasn't as bad as in the end, apparently, like not dead, just semi-retired. I have views on that. Delanet, I have views, to be honest with you. So for those of you who haven't caught up, cooler than zombies. Yes, in gear, there are things cooler than zombies. So when I read the thing about the thing that's coming, I squealed like a schoolgirl. There was just a very, very hyperactive moment. And then the realization that there was a period of time that I have to wait for that to arrive, and I couldn't have it then. That led to disappointment. There were tears. Mrs. Hydra had to cuddle me for a period of time as I rocked slowly. Very sad. But it'll definitely be worth the wait. You'll all be very happy. Probably not buying the sets. You're saying there's a chance. There's lots of there's a lot of moving parts around at the moment here, and we'll see. But definitely, probably not. Pirates and Ninjas would be cool. Comforting cuddles for the win. Comforting cuddles are for the win now. Pirates and Ninjas would be cool, but I'm not going to talk about it any further other than to say, when it drops and you see it, it will absolutely have been worth the wait. Even sat here now, with a fairly solid concept of the direction they're going with it, as in stuff, from the perspective of I know what they're planning, the thing. Got very excited. Definitely worth the wait. Das is Eldfall European thing. Only you and other European YouTubers I know talk about it. It seems neat. Gotta say, even with the Serious thing, Warcraft has become my favourite game the last few months. Cool. Das. So, Eldfall is Slovenian, so it's very much a European thing. It's unicorn miniatures, so oh my god, they're pretty. But it is, if you're in the US, which I assume if you're saying it's a European thing, you probably are, then Warsenal stocks it. There's somebody else over there that stocks it. There's a few companies that stock it, and it's growing. If you like Warcrow, smaller scale, 3 or 4 miniatures, maybe 5. Faster, games are over in an hour, 90 minutes, something like that. And it's a lot more like Infinity, but lighter because there's less stuff and fantasy. Very cool system. I like Warcrow. I've got a lot of love for Warcrow, but Eldfall I've got the itch for. I'm like, could play that. That's the thing I could do. So like on Saturday, I'm TOing for the Bolt Action tournament all day. So I'll probably hit the location about 8 AM. That'll finish about 6. I'll have some food, I'll put my kids to bed, and then I'll be back over to teach a couple of guys how to play, or to support a couple of guys in playing Eldfall, because it's just like, yeah, no, I don't care how tired I am, we can do that. I've got the capacity to play that game. We're doing it. So it's going to be it. So what is the Shatterpoint news? So in the past few days, what's happened with Shatterpoint was that AMG announced that they're going to be focusing on core systems, and those core systems are Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Legion, not Shatterpoint. And then they proceeded to say, oh no, we're still going to support it, it's just not going to be like a main system, we're still going to like bring out some miniatures and some stuff and some updates. Which a lot of people are like, well, you know, they're going to support it, this is really good, you know, this is really good. I'm not sure that it is, to be honest with you, because they said in their press release about all of this that they had an idea when they brought Shatterpoint out, and they've achieved that idea. They wanted to get a certain number of things out, and they've done that now in, was it 2 years, 2.5 years it's been out? They're like, yeah, we've done it. We've done the thing. We can bring other stuff out, but we've done the thing we wanted to do. Now, that's not a good sign if a company's saying, we've achieved everything we wanted to. That's not a good news. Thanks, Sander. Always a pleasure. Cheers for the insight. So, yeah, if you've done your thing, if you've done everything you wanted to, then where do you go from there? But more importantly than that, they're talking about slowing down the release schedule. Now, the problem with that is if you're slowing down what you're bringing out, that leads or can lead to a game going stale, which leads to people moving away. They rotate off of it because, you know, if you're waiting X months to get new stuff, and when the stuff comes, it's kind of, it's okay. It's not great, it's okay. Because they've already brought out the big stuff. It's going to be the periphery, it's going to be the outer next layer, more specialized stuff. Then their return on that work is going to be lower, and therefore their ability to justify more investment becomes lower, and therefore your releases get slower. You just have this slow twitching decline to it imploding, and that's my worry. I mean, I've not played, hands up, I've not played the game. When it was first announced, I was on holiday in Egypt. I hit the pre-order the morning that it was out. I pre-ordered everything, the whole, like, the terrain, everything that was coming out. So I was like, this looks cool, it's Star Wars, heck in yeah, you know? And then about 2 hours later, I emailed the company I pre-ordered it from and said, can I cancel that? And they said, yeah, so I cancelled it. Because the price point was just, you know when you buy something and you're like, yeah, I'm really happy about that, I can't wait for it to turn up. And then sometimes you buy something, you're like, that was a lot of money. That was a lot of money. And I found myself going back and looking at the confirmation email, but looking purely at the amount at the bottom of the page. It was just like, that's a lot of money. I think it was 250 euros for the starter box and the terrain and some other bits. But it felt like a lot. It felt like beyond what I was comfortable with. So I had to sort of cancel it and move on. Because it just, if that was the route they were going, and around that time they were announcing the next wave of releases, and they were all in that kind of point where I was just like, I don't want to do that. That's too much. So yeah, so I decided not to get involved and stepped away, and then it came out, and certainly where I am in the Netherlands, it kind of went, there were some people that got into it and they were like, yeah, it's cool, it's good fun. And that's as far as it went. It was fine. It was never really kind of something that people were like, oh my God, you have to see it. It was always like, yeah, no, I'll show it to you if you want to see it. It's good fun. And at that price point, you kind of want it to blow your socks clear across the room. You kind of want to be in a situation where like, I cannot play this enough. And everyone that the few people that I knew that actually played it were like, a bit too much money for shrugging shoulders and all the rest of it. Blissful Badger, yeah, a bit sad with Shatterpoint. I was starting to collect and never got a game. I've heard that that is something that people that I know who own it have said. I own it, I've never played it. Or I own it, I've played sort of 2 or 3 times, which in 2.5 years of release is not great. I'm not saying that's true everywhere, of course, but it seems to be a feeling that's kind of been out there that, yeah, it kind of bounced. And I think I was listening to a video from somebody else yesterday, whose name's I'm going to forget, which is terrible, but I was watching this video and they were saying, you know, it looks like what they tried to do was Shatterpoint was Marvel Crisis Protocol, but with Star Wars, like a hero-based type game, which is cool if that's what people wanted. Apparently we didn't want that. Apparently we wanted Legion. So as they tried to run Legion down, everyone sort of went, no. You know, that's the thing we wanted. And to be fair, I think Legion's come up in price. I think Legion's got more expensive. But that I look at and I'm like, man, that I'll pay for. It feels more worthwhile investing in. I have 46 minis for the game and I hadn't gotten past trying to figure out list building. Jeez. I'd never even looked really. I think I watched some of the early how to play videos and got a little bit through it and I was like, yeah, I'm going to play this. This doesn't sound interesting. So I've never actually learned to play it, but yeah, I think with that volume of miniatures and you've never got players learn to play, blimey. But the miniatures were pretty from what I see. They looked like nice quality and detailed and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. That's kind of what you want. But I think as well that they were quite expensive from where I was sat. They just seemed a bit dear. I don't know. It just wasn't quite right from my perspective. But yeah, so I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that they don't send it by negligence into the abyss kind of thing. Because that would be a shame. It's only 2.5 years old. That's such a quick rotation, you know? In, out, gone. Somebody else said, that's not even the amount of time that a average 40k edition gets, which is just the most hurtful thing to say about another system. My God, you've turned it around quicker than 40k. Very disappointing. Hang on, what's this going on over here?
So yes, Das. Atomic Mass Games seems able to actively support only one game at a time. When Shatterpoint launched, MCP and Legion were largely sidelined, whereas Shatterpoint even actively antagonised Legion play. Yeah, I saw that, Das, that they were being idiots towards their own customers, and that's just, I don't understand that. I don't get it. I never get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Don't because they were chopping up that, what was it, the one of the Empire tanks or something, they were slicing it up for Shatterpoint terrain at a point where you couldn't get stock of this thing, and it was a central unit for Empire, which was just, don't do that. Don't be like, haha, you should be playing the good game. I thankfully received a box, not the one I wanted, of Shatterpoint as a gift, so my investment in the game is zero. Yeah, fair play. It doesn't have a following in my area, so I don't even know how to play. That's so common. It's really weird how, yeah. You'd think, because MCP, you get people who evangelise about that all day, and I found that MCP is one of those things that is whispered quietly in gaming rooms, and there's sort of like a background susurration of people who play it. You're like, oh, do you? I do. Come on, we should play over here. And it's sort of more underground than other wargaming systems, but never had that with Shatterpoint. And as I say, the people that I do know that you're like, do you play it? I've got it, is a common response, which is not the same as play it. I physically own the thing. I don't actually do the thing, but I physically own the thing. It's a shame. I mean, people have put together a system, they've invested their time and energy and their love and their creativity in making a thing, and it just wasn't a thing, which is a shame. It is a shame, especially now they're apparently just trying to strangle it. But, you know, I hope this is not a sign of things to come. You know, indications are this was a corporate decision to bring it into the world and a corporate decision to tough it out, potentially. And I could be wrong. I hope this is not a sign of, like we get with live services with PCs, where it's kind of, okay, if this doesn't make all of the money on day one, we turn everything off on day 6, you know? I hope that's not where we're going. MCP is rather large down under Shatterpoint there. Yeah, well, you know, you've got Eldfall coming your way, mate, so that's going to ruin that. Just saying. No, there seems to be, like, very focused groups that play in MCP, and that's kind of a very, like, big thing from their perspective, and that's cool. I look at the Marvel aesthetic and I'm like, I like Marvel. No. I think the thing that intimidates me off of MCP is the fact that I've seen some of the people that do the painting work for MCP, friends of mine, and they've made it look like the comic books, and that's just too nice. I can't keep up with that, so give me 1 second, guys. As I was saying, hello. Sorry about that. Mrs. Hydra needed to go. She's going to bed. Don't forget it's GMT +1 over here, so it was like 10 o'clock at night. She's up early in the morning. She has to recover from hanging around with me all day today, you know. Witnessing the greatness every single second. Lucky her. But yeah, I never felt I could keep up with that standard of painting that some people that I know do for it, so it's kind of, if I can't do it that great, yeah, it's one of the things that I'd want, so. I'm all in for Eldfall. Don't like Marvel, so no danger of me being roped in. About to order an Eldfall t-shirt to entice people to a demo table. There it is. He's getting the merch. quick, he's gone right. You can write any time you want. You don't need to wait for me to go. I like sitting back and watching a good punch up. So MCP looks cool, and I'd also like to learn it, but don't know people that play, or I can't find the models I'd like to paint for it, so I haven't bought in any of it. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. It's quite a mature system now, so finding the way in sometimes can be a bit challenging, I think. But let's hope that Shatterpoint does continue when they actually manage to support more than one system, because that would be nice. Because, look, I mean, they're doing great things with Legion from what I can see. I'm supposed to have had seen it by now, because I've been in conversation with them since January, that they were going to send some stuff across for me to review and get on the channel and start like bringing to you people, so that Kaz would be happy. And Kaz would finally get off my case, so I'd own some Legion. Nice. But yeah, they've kind of got a bit dark, so we'll see what happens on that front. Yeah, having about 250 minis in stock at any one time is rough. Yeah, no, I get that. Don't get me wrong. It's a big roster. I understand that. This is the thing. Holding stock for a big system is a big financial commitment, and that's, you have multiple systems and when you have like GW requires this amount of space, you've got to hold that amount of stock. That's a lot. That is a lot, and for a small company, which a lot of friendly gaming stores are, you have to make a decision. And if you have something like MCP saying, right, you need to hold Nightcrawler Alt 15, how many of these do we need? It's tough. So I get it. It's not viable for everything to be held in stock at all times, but the getting into type, the understanding that you need a clear, defined route. Something I've been talking to. So, as many of you know, I'm working with the guys at Eldfall at the moment. I'm working with the guys at Eldfall because I love the game. I don't love the game because I'm working with the guys at Eldfall. Clear that one up. I'm talking to them at the moment, and it is that in marketing, you call it a customer journey. The point at which people connect with your system and how they feel about your system and what they do about your system, all this kind of thing. You need to ensure that if somebody's never heard of you before, never experienced your system, they don't know anything, there's a place they can go and find out the really basic stuff without any assumed knowledge. So if you want to know what an Eldfall is, somebody said I should play this. What is it? There should be a place that if they search, what is Eldfall Chronicles? They go to it and it kind of says, right, this is what it is. And if you want to start, here's the thing. A lot of more mature systems, you hit a point where it's kind of like, how do I start this system? Noob. That's not helpful. Where do I begin? There's got to be a sort of a string for you to tug. So I think with some of the bigger, more mature systems like MCP, it can be really daunting to get into, because you're kind of like, well, what do I need? Well, clearly these 15 miniatures. Where do I get them? Places. Unhelpful. Unhelpful in the extreme. But as I say, I do sympathise with the gaming stores that, you know, don't have the capacity to hold all of that stock all of the time. It's a lot of money. It is always a lot of money. So yeah, that's Shatterpoint. Talked about zombies. Talked about Eldfall. Talked about Warcry. Goodness, all efficient tonight. Where does one start with Eldfall? An amazing 2-player starter set with everything you need. Yes! See, Frosty's got it. Frosty's got it. You will lead the charge into Australia and the people will buy the product whether they like it or not. Stand still, mate. I've got something for you. You're going to love it. So, yeah. It is true. There is a nice signed post process, but it doesn't mean to say it's perfect, because it's not. But we're working on it. I have plans, and it's going to be amazing. So, you will all see very, very soon. Well, members will. Unless it's Sand Kingdoms. Why are we Little Badger, this is not the type of channel where you say things like those words. Sand Kingdom is not a thing you just say on this channel. Not. There might be children watching us before bedtime. What are you doing? Have some respect, man. Honestly. Now, having said that, I've got my little gargoyles up here. So I'm not completely Sand Kingdom immune. But those are for a thing that you'll find out later. So that's coming soon, TM. Why are you crying now, Mel? What are you upset about? Yeah, but that's your fault for playing Sand Kingdom. I don't play Sand Kingdoms. You monster. Sand boys and girls, though. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, okay, right. Let's just be absolutely clear, all right? The Sand Kingdom stuff is pretty, and it's interesting from a mechanical perspective, technical perspective within the game. But I personally don't feel it. That's what it comes down to. I wish I did. There's just sometimes you look at something, you're like, that aesthetically? No. No, thank you. I have, controversially, the same with any game that includes orcs. Like when the original Winds from the North came out for Warcrow, and we had the Northern Tribes in there, which were orcs. It's just like, I'm sure they're great. Just not for me, you know? Still looking for the Soga 2-player box locally and Wayfarers. What you mean? You mean Wayfarers? You mean these guys? You mean this one here? Look at the prettiness of that product. Look at it. Isn't it nice? And then you turn it around and you have all the stuff in the back of it. Look at it. It's so nice. Oh, anyway, you wouldn't want to see that. That would just be depressing. So, oof. But I think that Warsenal's getting there's some other people coming on stream in the US to sell this. So it's going to get easier for you to pick up, which is a good thing. That's what you need. Spell dancers. You have all the time. But that's the only problem with Eldfall, is normally with the system you have like 20 miniatures to paint. So if it takes a while to find the next ones, it takes, it's fine. You've got 4 new starter box. This is a problem. This is a problem. I've been painting tiny tanks this week as well. I'm just going to very briefly. Hang on, where's the semi-hemi-demi painted one? Is that you? That's you, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Yes, that is you. We started painting tiny tanks this week for Flames of War, so they're starting to come together. Early War German Grey, which, having normally had to paint camouflage on tanks, it's really nice not to have to. So, grey! Dry brush grey! Do the tracks a different colour then? Brilliant. Love it. That is the kind of things that I can get behind when it comes to painting. It just makes life easier. It does just make life easier. Oh my goodness. And today we started specking out our new table because it's time for my 4th Infinity table. And this time I'm getting it 3D printed. Because there's a specific thing that I want. And it's going to be a challenge. So what we're getting, because I know you're hyped, what we're getting is I am going to make a jungle table. But it's got specific facets to it, specific features. So we're going to do like a sci-fi aesthetic 6x4 setup of this table. And we're looking like, the jungle temples, and then like fallen tree barricades, and like sci-fi bunkery type places that you can, like stuff like that. So 6x4, yes, 6x4. I said what I said. So that's what we're doing it for, 6x4. And there's some like vehicles, but then like tents and the more stone temples and stuff like that, because if memory serves, 6x3 is, hello puppy, Dog's yapping in the background in her sleep. 6x3 is Star Wars Legion. So we're going to do some that have a Star Wars aesthetic. So we've kind of got Endor or that kind of thing. Maybe a little bit of Yavin, that kind of wood feel, hidden rebel base. Then we can strip out elements of that and we can turn that into just temples without the sci-fi stuff in the jungle, which means we can use that for Eldfall. And then we take more of the sci-fi stuff and we put some like walkways and some barricades in it and some like sci-fi type security blocks, and we have an infinity table. We're going to try and make it possible to use this table for 3 systems. It's not going to work for Flames of War. I can't make that work. But I think we can make it work for those 3 systems. Because then, yeah, it'll all fit. And technically, if it's jungle and it fits with Eldfall, then I'll be able to use that also for Warcry. So we can get 4 systems in there. You don't have to tell me how clever I am. I'm well aware. Will it work? I don't know. But that's the plan. In the last 5 years I've been hobbying. Flames of War has really taken a dip in my community. I've never played it, but it's something I've definitely noticed. Yes, so what happened is we had the release to version 4 and that happened and there's a whole raft of books, and then they did Late War, and Late War was just this rapid fire series of books. So like you would get D-Day, and there would be a release for British, and that would be a British starter box, a whole lot of boxes that came with it. Then you'd get German, and then you get the German starter box and a whole lot of boxes that came with it, and then the US, and then and this is over kind of like a year. For example, you get those 3 books and those 3 releases. The next year we went on to Bagration, so we had the Germans, and then we had the Soviets. So there was that, and they all got their nice little releases. There were 4 books, by the way, in D-Day, because we had SS in there as well, which I owned and never felt good about, but by the by. So then we went on to Bagration, and then we went on to Battle of the Bulge. So we had Brits, the Germans, and the Americans, because that also covered, yeah, that entire period. Various things around there. So we did that, and then they went on and did the Battle of Germany, or the Battle of Berlin even, where we had the Brits, the Germans, the Russians, and the Americans. So you had 4 books, all with starter sets, all with expansion stuffs, all with and then they went for about 2 years. Now we had a mid-war thing for North Africa, which was kind of, here's a book with everybody in it. And then they did some other summary ones. They did a compilation of the D-Day stuff and a compilation of a compilation book of various ones. They stuck them all in together and went, ta-da! And everyone kind of went, okay, that's nice, thanks, great. Yeah. And then we got Early War, which is just dropping now, with a Blitzkrieg book, which had 4 countries in. Early War, very different beast, and that seems to be rejuvenating it because it has a whole release schedule behind it, and we're doing a whole lot of other things. We did Pacific as well. There's a brief bit of Pacific in there as well, but it was just kind of after the end of Late War, things kind of went and sort of stopped, which meant that people didn't have new toys they wanted to play with, and it just slowed. I saw it around here as well. It was kind of like, yeah, everyone should play, but we're kind of fine. So yeah, it was a shame, but they're coming back now, and it's well worth your time if you like your Second World War 15mm scale. So it's more company sized. You have that bigger battle type feel. It's very cool for that. And Early War is less stupid tank battles. It's not stupid tank battles, but it's less stupid tank battles. So I think that's a good thing. But yeah, we shall see what happens. I'd like to see them succeed. I think Battlefront are a good company. They were one of the first manufacturers that actually supported my channel and went, here, review products. And I was like, oh, okay. You mentioned the customer generator. Exactly. Exactly. Best for Badger. That's exactly the point. You need to have, when you've got everybody engaged with your community, you need to have something to continue them to be engaged with. We need things that drive us to play more. And if you, I mean, to be honest with you, I sold off my German late war army and my British late war army because it was just like, I don't want to play it at the moment because there's nothing fresh, there's nothing interesting to do. Done all this, and they've been sat in the box for a year. Why? Why do I? Because I had, I mean, my German army was, it was a lot. It was a lot. I think, for context, I had like 12 Panzer IVs, 10 Stugs. I think I had 9 Panthers and about 7 Tigers. It was there was an argument to be made that I had more armor than an entire Panzer division at one point. It was just obscene, and it was doing nothing. So it went to a new home. Unfortunately, it needed to, because I wasn't doing anything with it, and I had no plans to do anything with it. And then it just becomes stuff, and stuff isn't useful, and I don't hold stuff. Stuff is not nice. So, yeah, it's been a challenge, but I think they're coming out of it now, and they deserve to as well. So, if you do like that kind of thing, definitely check them out. And I've got a review of, over here we've got Maginot Line, I've got a review of that coming up, and I think we're going to be doing a little baby battle with that as well. I've got some beautiful pre-painted terrain from Micro Art Studio. So over there, I've got to put that together, and then we're going to do the battle on that, and it's going to be all like pew, pew, bang, 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 tanks and French turrets flying all over the places. My panzers take care of them, live and exclusive on the Dice Gods. It's going to be magical, absolutely magical. So, yeah. Hey, Gene Dean. Good evening. Hello, buddy. How are you? Yeah, you're well. Good to see you, man. Long time no see. How are you? Yeah, so we have that coming up. We have the Flames of War stuff coming up. That is going to be cool. And more bolt action. We got the announcement of the new Italian book the other day, which I think they said that you could play both sides. You can play them as Axis and Allies, which is kind of funky. So we're definitely going to be talking about some of that. There is some stuff coming up with Flames of War later in the year that I'm going to do even more on. And some really interesting stuff coming for bolt action too. So we're going to be doing that. Yeah, but of course there's still lots to talk about where it comes to Infinity. I've got this Bakunin faction focus that I've been struggling with, because certain bit, I don't know if you know, I mean, you do something and you finish it and you stand back and you look at it and you go, that's not it. And actually I had it with the Arcanum 5 for Eldfall as well. I was like, not that. Not that. That's not the thing. So I've been having it with the Bakunin faction focus for a little while, and I need to shift that particular lump out of my way. Because I've got another like 2 faction focuses to go after it, but Bakunin goes first, otherwise it never goes. I know how my brain works. So we have those faction focuses coming up, lots more on that. We have I've accelerated the how to make Infinity tables after the video last week talking about the issue with setting up Infinity tables, which I spent so much time laughing my butt off at certain places after that video dropped. It was absolutely brilliant. This whole thing is weird. It's really strange. It's really strange how people react to you in certain situations. And it's even funnier when you take your ego out of it and you can see what you actually read what people say and realise the implications of it. There's a whole bunch of people on various channels who turned round, saw the thumbnail of the video, which basically said along the lines of just Infinity has a terrain problem, a table setup problem. And they just went, no, it doesn't. No, clearly not. Some of them, in a period of time after the video was released, when they didn't have time to watch the video. We're talking, I think it's a 20-minute video, and somebody at one point replied within 40 seconds. And I'm just like, oh, sweetheart. It's just, you're just reading the headline and making your opinion, aren't you? You're just like, you're clearly wrong. Like, just watch the video and then tell me where you disagree. And then you get the people that actually watched the video, and some of them disagreed. And you could tell they watched the video because they had receipts. And I'm like, that's really interesting. You have something to say. You've expressed it clearly with a counterpoint to what I'm saying. That's information, I can work with that. But there were some people that just responded with, no. I'm not trashing the game, honey. I'm not trashing the game. I'm saying, do we need to think about this? Is this something we need to consider? Is this something that needs to be addressed? Is this another barrier of entry to new players? Is this another challenge for tournament organisers? Is this... There's a lot to be talked about there, and it's something that as a community we need to think about. Turn around and go, no. Oh, jeez. Bless them. Oh my goodness me! Neil and Jean in the room at the same time. Goodness me. Hello, buddy. How are you, Neil? It's good to see you. I'm glad you're back up and around. It's lovely to have your presence. You have been missed, my friend. You have been missed. It's been way too long. So it's good to see you. How was your day? How are you feeling? What's going on with you? World needs to know. Three Men in the Shed's not been around for a little while, guys, as many of you have noticed. So he's back now, and he's bought T-shirts for everyone, which I think was kind. Completely unnecessary, but very kind. Yeah, I read some of those on Facebook. They seem to think you were kind of defending 40k shirt buildings or something like that. Yeah. And I forget who it was. A terrain manufacturer is one of the ones that just went, no. Never mind. But I love those kind of comments because there's nothing there. They've not contributed anything. You've not said anything of value. I don't care. I can ignore you. And relish, just suck the marrow from the bone of you giving me engagement, which increases the reach of the thing you hate that you never watched. Fine. You know? Unless somebody's actually... I think the only people that get nuked are, from any of my comment sections, are ones who are either consistently like that, and I'm like, I don't need other people to read the negativity, then I will nuke them. Okay, I'm off. The painting fumes are getting to me. No stamina problem. No stamina. What's wrong with you, man? If the negativity's too high... Whoa, rainbows. You love it. You know you do. If the negativity's too high, or there is racism or something like that, if somebody's racist or sexist or anything like that, get out. No. I don't want you watching my videos. Because that's just how I am. So, problem with the t-shirts is I bought them on Temu, so they're all sized for mice. Yes, and probably made out of tissue paper and sadness. So, bless them. Bye, problem. Thank you for hanging out, buddy. It's good to see you as ever. In every sense. But, yeah, it was just funny. So I enjoy the humour of, you helped me by hating me. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But yeah, you get that sometimes. The Infinity community is getting a little bit polarised on that front. There is no space for nuance sometimes. And I think one thing that I really did enjoy is I got some messages off the back of that from tournament organisers who I really respect and who've been doing it as long as I have, so 10 plus years. In fact, this must be my 12th year. I think I had the first year I wasn't organising tournaments, and then I was just like, right, if no one else is going to do it, yay! So it must be 12, 13 years that I've been doing tournaments this year. Crazy. Anywho, but people that have been doing it as long as me, and I respect the opinion, they have, in my knowledge of them, the insight and the wisdom to have a sort of valid opinion. And so far, 100% of them have been like, yeah, no, this sucks, and it's an issue, and this is a genuine challenge. If you haven't watched the video, essentially, Infinity Tables are an art form to set up. With the new missions that came out this year, and with the new version of the game, and the increased mobility, and the different types of units that were added to the game, that challenge of setting up tables, especially at a tournament, has just become exponentially harder, and there aren't necessarily clear answers to. You used to have like one edge to the other edge deployment, but now you have sort of quarter circle edge deployments, but when, according to the rules, the players can choose which one they go for. So you've got to kind of set up for both, and one of them has a line of 3 objectives down the middle, so it could be this way, it could be that way. So your table terrain needs to work well if they deploy there, and the objectives are there or there, and if they go this way and go up that way. And there's a particular niche situation where you can end up with 3 objectives on each diagonal, so 5 objectives in total, a different 4 sets of objectives, 1 in each quarter, and then a big building in the middle with an objective in the middle, and then 2 either side of it. So it just becomes this confetti explosion on the table of, and now we can't have any dominant fire lines, but we have to make sure that missile launchers work and sniper rifles work, but we can't be too dominant with super. It just becomes this thing of like, boom, which feels an unintended side effect, shall we say. Lutbeard, what I find adorable about AliExpress or Temu clothing is that stated error in size is like 2 to 3 times the difference between sizes. Dear God, I avoid those things. I try not to. In fact, so far I've not bought from either AliExpress or Temu. It's one of those things where you're like, I want to buy locally and I want to support the economy over here. I don't think that buying the cheapest possible solution, irrespective of quality, is necessarily good, because I think there are people over here that need the support, and if I don't support them, that's bad for the economy here and it drives down prices, but I want to get paid more like everyone does. So if I drive down the economy and don't support other people within my economy, then it's negative for me in the medium term. So I try to avoid it, but I've seen some stuff from those places, and some of it you're like, nah, it's reasonable, and other times you're like, what happened? Anyway, I had to wield the xenophobia ban hammer earlier today. Oh, I hate that, man. Neil, I hate that. There's no need for it at all in this day and age. Multiverse, I had a Reddit post, comments get locked because people got super sexist and mean about it. To be fair, it was a English. It's only my first language. To be fair, it was a semi-controversial paint job my fiance did about something she feels strongly about. Yeah, but I don't know. But there's no. You don't need to be this. If you want to critique someone, critique someone. Don't attack the art, not the person. If you can't make your point without going boobs, you probably don't have a good point, do you? Sucks. People are annoying. Lutbeard, AliExpress is cool for specific material electronics, not something local. Temu is just giving out your CC details. Noted. I think you made a valuable point. You even pointed out that although it increases complexity, it may still be worth putting up with for a better game experience. This is it. I don't think it is the point with it. Is this is something that we as a community need to talk about and we need to look at. It was not, this is terrible, the game is destroyed, or anything like that. But it is, I see, a challenge. It's a problem. And I spend a lot of my time on this channel talking to newer players. And there's a whole set of newer players coming in. And I'm already getting the, okay, so how do you set up a table? Now that used to be a relatively, to an experienced like TA like myself, a relatively simple statement, you know. Advantageous side, disadvantageous side, not too dominant, not too open, not too closed, benefits for all types of weapon, benefits for all types of player. Think about the positioning of your objectives, think about what options your players have. They should be multiple routes out of deployment, there should be multiple routes across the board, blah, 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 blah. These are relatively simple and straightforward things, but now it's that, but straight over and diagonally, and also this diagonally, but also you've got objectives here, 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 and there's one up your nose as well. Yay! Don't get me wrong, I'm going to do the video and it's going to be epic. I did love that one of the comments on the video was from Carlos from Corvus Belli saying this would really benefit from graphics. I'm like, I know, that's why the actual video where I talk about it is going to contain some form of graphical stuff. God help me. But yeah, it's something that needs to be discussed openly so that new players don't come in and hit just face first into that barrier of how to set up a table badly. That's how you do it. It's not nice. We don't want that. We don't want that. Very unshed. Not always the best answer, but can be good for bulk buys. Some game suppliers, but yeah. I agree with you. You know, I understand that those places can do it, but I just I try and be black and white, and I try and be kind of, I either do this or I don't do this, and there's certain things that I don't do, and buying from Chinese or Asian mass market, mass production channels is not something I do. I just stick away from it. I think for the most part there are other ways of doing it over here, and it may cost me more money, but that's the choice that I make, and there's no judgment to anyone else that isn't as stupid as I am. That's all I have to say about that. Don't weaponize criticism. Pfft. We live in hope that people wouldn't. It was an observation of a thing that happens to bronze statue. A lot of the comments were men being upset that it happens to bronze statues of men too. But not all men. No. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Still the top 5 upvoted post of all time on Harmony painting. Nice. I'm not going to go and look at it later, because there is a non-zero chance that if I look at it, that someone's going to upset me. I've already been upset by people today. I don't need to be upset by more people. Right? I don't, do I? No, I don't. But no, I think, yeah, there's a lot of people that weaponize criticism these days. It happens in the wargaming community as well, and I'm just... I wish people were better. I wish we lived in better times, people. But we shall, again. It will happen. It will come round. It always does. It's the cyclical nature of humanity. We will stop being stupid. We won't learn from it, but we'll stop being stupid. How about I just share the pics of the finished project with you on Discord? Yeah, please do. Always welcome to it. Always lovely to see it. If it's... I'd love to see your fiance's work. Let's put it that way. Always nice. Always good. But, yeah. Anyway. So, oh my goodness me. Cool. Been on 1 hour and 40 minutes. I do waffle to you lot, I really do. I think this Thursday I'm actually going to make it on to stream in the afternoon as well. We have painting to do. We're working on stuff at the moment. Where are we? Where are we? That one. And that one. So because we're not doing the tournament this weekend, we can get back to working on... we can get back to working on Shock Army, so the bases are getting done. This is still a work in progress, clearly. So I've lightened these up. They were a bit dark before. I'm making them a bit brighter now. Many mushrooms. So this we're going with the terrain that I discussed earlier, and that kind of jungle feel. So these are a little bit more industrial, but we've got lots of branches and stuff all over them, so they're going to look cool. But yeah, so I've got a whole batch of those going. Because then if I finish that batch, 25s as well. So no, 25 bases too. I love these little mushrooms. I hate eating mushrooms. I will not eat mushrooms. They're gross. But they just work. For some reason, on the base, they're working for me. They're a little AK set of printed mushrooms. And they make me happy. So I shall, if I don't finish all of those before Thursday, then on Thursday I should be painting those on stream, which will be nice, which will be very exciting. Should look forward to that. But and then we get on to doing more of these, because I have the test miniatures just kind of there. The test miniatures are just about there. I think the green maybe needs to be a bit more vivid, but that's kind of, I want them to look like they're in they can be urban or in the jungle at the same time. So they're going all right. I've kind of got the general gist of it now, and had a little bot to go with too. So we have those test minis done. Get those finished up, because I've got my place for the Interplanetario, so we're doing that. Thanks, Multiverse. Appreciate that, buddy. I should check it out in a minute. I've got my place for the Interplanetario, so we're going to be going to that, and Shock Army becoming 2. And I kind of want to do some test games with that, obviously, beforehand. And we have a invitational tournament coming up in April, where we have a bunch of us from the local community getting together to slap the snot out of each other. No newbies, just violence, pure hardcore unpleasantness all the way, which is going to be good. It's lovely to have, we have a lot of newbies in the community. I think Problem, who's just bailed, I think he's talking to 2 this week, because I'm taking a step back from getting new people on board. I've got Shampoo, who I'm working with, he's on the Discord as well. I'm getting him up to speed at the moment, but I'm trying to avoid taking more on for myself, because I kind of need to take a break of that, you know. There comes a point where you need to step back and not. So I'm not. I'm not doing that for the time being. But it would be good to have a tournament where we don't have new players for a minute, so we can just push, you know. We can do it hardcore. It has to be said. See now you've said that, I need to look. There's always discussion about how pretty it all is. That is really nice. That is very nice indeed. Shall we, hang on a sec. I don't know what this is going to show. We'll find out together. Nothing. Where's the button? That one. That is very pretty. That is very pretty indeed. I think we can all agree that is a very well observed piece, and really nice bit of verdigris work on there. That's really cool. I have no issue with that at all. I don't know what people do. People are so difficult. I don't know what they do. Very nice work. My compliments to your good lady. And if you're wondering where that was being shown and what Discord that's referring to, patrons and members get access to the Discord channel, and it's patrons and members only. So I did share the screen. You're so bossy. So if you become a member of either YouTube or become a Patreon, then you get access to the Discord. You can come and harass me directly and join in with the craziness that's on there. It is really nice work, isn't it, Frosty? It is very nice work indeed, I have to say. I did have to laugh though. Honest, not at that clearly. Where was it the other day? No, it's on my phone. I was looking at the Discord, and we've got like a stupid number of people on there now. I was really quite surprised. I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong. And it's not like I'm not going to be taking over the world with it. 83 members on Discord, which was really cool. It's not everybody. There's over 100, I think there's 140 members and patrons now. No one's mentioned... I've missed you like piles, mate, but it's good you're back. I'm glad you're back. No one's mentioned clogs tonight. I'm very disappointed. Oh, God. Here we go. In fact, it's been a few weeks. There's been very little clog action on here, and then all of a sudden you turn up and we're all clogged. It is a stupid number of people. I still am bewildered by the fact you lot come and choose of your own volition to hang out with me. I was fairly certain when we got the first couple that my mum was bullying people, or that it was her, but then it clearly isn't, because some of the things you lot say, she would never say that. So, a stupid number of people or a number of stupid people. I mean, I'm good with both, because they should, by choice, hanging around with me. That's, you know, it's a whole lifestyle choice. Not one I personally would make. I don't get a choice. So, there you go. It is crazy though. This whole thing is bonkers. I'm still completely bewildered by it. It is crazy good. It is good fun, and I do like it, but very strange. Very strange indeed. But there we go. But with that said, I think I'm going to head off in a second, because I'm quite tired actually. And I'm going to chill out and go to bed. And then tomorrow, I've got to do some stuff for our friends at Free Company for Eldfall. So look forward to that. And then a load of stuff. There's so much stuff that needs to be recorded and put out to you guys. So like I said, this week you are going to see Mount Haven. You are going to see, I think Arcanum 5 will drop this week. Certainly thoughts on the errata, and version 1.6 of Eldfall is going to drop. Hopefully the Bakunin faction focus will come into focus, so you can finally see that and be like, my god, I didn't see what the problem was. Just between these is massive problems. And then we've got a review coming up of the Flames of War stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming up this week. I've got another review to do for some more terrain that's over here. Got to do that. Need to record the other second part of the fiction for Shock Army. That's coming up. Love watching the streams. Thank you. I'm glad you like watching the streams. I'm literally editing for Free Company content tonight. What have you got coming up? What are you doing? Tell me. Neil, what's coming up? And the videos are helpful. I'm glad they're helpful. Pleasure. That's good. It's good to hear. It's why this whole channel was started, was to be helpful and support community and all that kind of stuff. And nothing, like you get comments from people that are like, oh my god, I love your stuff, and sometimes I even get your production quality is amazing and all this kind of stuff. And it's like that. Thanks. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm pleased that's how you feel about my stuff. What I really love, the thing that absolutely hypes me and makes me really inspired and really happy, is when people are kind of like, yeah, me and my friends learning to play the game with this. This is help. I wasn't understanding this, now I do. I live for that stuff. Unboxing 2-player starter set drops tomorrow. Nice. So if you need even more reason to get involved with Eldfall, 3bin in the Shed, follow them along, because they've got some wonderful stuff coming from Eldfall very, very soon. But also unboxing of Northern Winds. Yeah, I've got my unboxing of Northern Wind. I need to drop that, actually. I need to put that into the world. But this week we're doing errata and we're doing Arcanum 5. Because otherwise certain members of the community are going to hunt me down and they're going to do violent things to me that are going to be unpleasant. And I don't need that. I don't need it. So we're not doing that. We're doing Arcanum 5 out into the world. I'm not going to do the first quest, which I was going to do. I'm going to let that hang for a little bit because reasons. You'll see, it'll be worth it. But yeah, the unboxing of Northern Winds, that was something special. That was, you know, when you get hold of a product. I found out the other day, how good is Northern Wind? Yes. Do you know, Frosty? Do you know how many endings does the core box of Northern Wind have? If you don't know what we're talking about, Northern Wind is a dungeon crawler from Free Company who make Eldfall. It's set in the Eldfall universe. Think, God, I lost the name of it now. It's a dungeon crawler, so you have a quest you go through and all this kind of thing. But how many endings are there, Frosty? Do you know? I'll be impressed. Hang on, then we get spam on Twitch just to totally ruin my day. Didn't ruin my day at all, but that sounded dramatic. So, because Frosty's now looking it up, there are 33 possible endings in the core box of Northern Wind. 33. That's crazy. So you can work through the various arcs that exist inside of there, through the narrative, and there are 33 possible ways it can end up. And then you can buy expansions which give you more side quests and give you alternate endings and a boss ending. Amazing. Every time I read something new about Northern Wind, I'm like, And if you didn't know already, we are doing a choose your own adventure style. Yes, you are indeed. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you're going to do. I'm really hyped for that, man. That sounds really cool. I'll expect links to it in the Discord bright and early when that launches. I expect it to be there. And I expect everybody to watch my videos first. Clearly more important. But you know what I mean. So yeah. Anywho, I was going. So I have lots to do tomorrow and over the next few days. So there's lots coming. This might be a bit of a carpet bomb week, and for that I apologise. Don't watch everything. There's going to be a lot. Watch what's interesting. Don't watch everything. Because there's only so much time you should spend with me, otherwise you start thinking that things that I think are a good idea, and you don't need that in your life. I don't need the guilt. You don't need the therapy. So don't do that. But watch the stuff you find interesting. That will be good. But yes, I think 1 hour and 53 minutes. I'm done. I'm good. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for hanging out. It's lovely to see so many of you back again. Aw, thanks, Blissful. But thank you for hanging out. Please validate my existence. Why does nobody love me? I've got no super chats tonight. None. Not one. I got two additional subscribers over on Twitch, which was amazing. Twitch loved me more this evening than YouTube, and there were more people on YouTube. Is that what I am to you? Just a cheap... Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. I will speak to you later. Frosty, you take care. It is always a pleasure. And yeah, have a good rest of the week. I'll see you Thursday. You'll see me more than that, which is wildly inappropriate. But yes, take care, and I'll see you all later. Bye.